body has one purpose: to induct into membership the new members from both the 7th and 8th grades. Many of you here this evening may not know what National Junior Honor Society is all about. The National Junior Honor Society, NJHS, is an organization that elevates schools' commitment to the values of scholarship, service, leadership, character, and citizenship. These 5 pillars have been associated with membership in the organization since its inception in 1929.
This is one of my most favorite, highly anticipated events of the year. It is such a joy to see our scholars look so nice. You guys look so nice. I'm so very proud of you. When I think about the core values of NJHS, I think it's important to recognize each of them individually. Scholarship. You have proven yourselves to be a distinguished academic. Service. Service is all about everybody else. It is the epitome of what humans expect of each other. Leadership. Some people believe that in order to be a leader, you have to be the loudest. That's not necessarily true. Every leader has something about them that stands out to other people. Every leader has the ability to connect with others for the good of the whole. Citizenship. Good citizenship is being respectful of yourself and others, being respectful of others' property, being respectful of school property, following school rules, being honest and dependable, and giving back to your community. Character. Your character is really who you are. I've learned that what you do when others are not looking at you says a lot about your character, the kind of person you are.
At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the Editor-in-Chief of the Lansing Journal, Ms. Melanie Jongsma, to give her address.
Almost exactly 100 years ago, a man named Walter lived in Lansing. Lansing was a pretty small town back then. Not a lot of businesses, not a lot of people. A lot of the people were farmers. But Walter was the kind of man who wanted to help his community. So he and his father set up a shop along one of the busy roads in town. They started out selling things they knew their neighbors needed: shoes, dry goods like flour and sugar. They set up a post office, and they sold insurance because they understood that some farm families needed help with medical bills when they got sick or when they were injured in the farms or on the roads. So that's what Walter did 100 years ago. Almost 80 years ago, a woman named Winnie lived in Lansing. Winnie loved children, and she loved books, and she loved reading. So when the Lansing Library Board asked if she would become the head librarian, Winnie thought that would be a great way to serve her community. At that time, the library was located in an old pump house in Lansing, a bare brick stone building. It was cold and dark in the winter and hot and dark in the summer. So Winnie accepted the job, but she was not satisfied with the status quo. She made improvements to that old pump house, and then later she served on the leadership team that planned and built a brand new library for local families. That was Winnie 80 years ago. Nearly 70 years ago, a guy named Andy lived here. Andy liked to paint, and he liked helping other people who needed things painted. So Andy and 2 friends started a business on another busy road in town. They sold paint, and people could also hire them to do their painting. Over time, Andy added more products and services: wallpaper and window curtains and flooring and carpet. Andy loved helping people make their houses beautiful, and people liked being proud of where they lived. So that was Andy 70 years ago. Walter, Winnie, and Andy were just ordinary people who lived in Lansing. I don't think they were members of the National Honor Society, but they were hardworking and community-minded and willing to help. When they saw a need in their community, they figured out ways to use the things they were good at to meet those needs. They made a difference in Lansing back then, and our community today is still benefiting from what they did. If you drive down Torrance Avenue, you can see Walter's name on the sign. Walter W. Schultz Insurance Agency is still here in Lansing, still in business, still helping our community after 100 years. The Lansing Public Library is still around too. It's in a different building than the one Winnie worked in, but Winnie's picture is on one of the walls in the lower level. You can see it there. Winnie helped our community understand that kids and families deserve a beautiful place to keep learning. And Lansing's library has gotten better and better through the years because of her. Andy's old paint store is still in business too. It's called Town Interiors now, and Andy's son Don owns it. Don loves helping people make their houses beautiful, just like his father did. Now, I grew up in Lansing, and I've lived here all my life, but I never heard these stories. I used to ride my bike past Walter Schultz's insurance store. I checked books out of the Lansing Public Library. My parents bought paint at Andy's paint store, but I didn't know anything about the people who helped make those places what they are. I didn't know any of that history. It wasn't until I started working for the Lansing Journal that I learned about Walter, Winnie, Andy, and all the different kinds of people that it takes to build a community. There are hundreds of stories. Lansing is an old town with a lot of history. But not all the stories are from long ago. New stories are being written every day, and new people are part of those stories. I worry sometimes that when new generations come up in an established community, they think the work is already finished and there's nothing left for them to do. But that is not true. Community building work is never finished. 100 years ago, 80 years ago, 70 years ago, we needed Walter and Winnie and Andy and other people, and they stepped up and found ways to serve. They helped turn a small town into a real community. Today, we need you. We need new generations of leaders and community builders. We need old-fashioned hard work, but also fresh ideas and fresh strength. If anyone can do this, you can. You are already successful scholars, and scholarship is important. Scholarship is not about being the smartest or knowing the most. Scholarship means you enjoy learning, you keep learning, and that is such an important way to look at the world. As true scholars, you won't be bound to doing things the same way they've always been done. Lansing needs scholars like you who are willing to learn new ways and try new things. Lansing also needs public servants. A lot of people start a business because they want to be the boss and make all the decisions. Some people go into politics because they want to be in charge. But Lansing and Linwood and other towns around here need leaders who understand that we are all stronger when we serve and help each other. Leadership and service have to go hand in hand if you want to build community. We need people like you who understand both service and leadership. That's the nature of citizenship, too. Citizenship is more than just being a citizen. Being a citizen of Lansing or Linwood just means you live there. Citizenship means you're involved in your community. You know your neighbors, you attend events, you shop at local businesses. That's good citizenship, and our communities need more people who understand that. Walter and Winnie and Andy were all people of character, but they weren't all the same. You all have character too, and you aren't the same as each other, and you don't have to be the same as old Lansing in order to make a difference in Lansing today. Lansing is a different community now than it was 100 years ago. We face different challenges than the ones Walter and Winnie and Andy faced. And you will probably notice these challenges as you get more and more involved in the community. In fact, we need you to notice the problems. We need you to ask questions about why things are the way they are. And we need you to help us think of new ways We can all make changes together. Maybe you'll start that already in high school. Maybe when you get to TF South, you'll join a club that's making a difference. Maybe you'll befriend a kid who's getting bullied, and you'll make a difference in his life. Maybe as soon as you turn 18, you'll register to vote, and you'll cast a ballot in every election for the rest of your life. Those are all good ways to build community. Or maybe one day you'll start a business like Walter and Andy did. Maybe you'll sell some new thing that people today need. Or maybe you'll invent something new that solves an old problem. Or you might be like Winnie and work for an old established organization, but you'll bring new ideas to that old way of thinking. You might help that old organization stay fresh and strong as it continues to serve our community today as well as future generations. Maybe you'll run for some kind of political office here in town. Not because you want to be important or famous, but because you love your community and you understand that it needs good leaders who are also public servants. I don't know what the future holds for you, but I am excited about the possibilities. With young, bright citizens like you who will keep learning and leading and using your skills to make our community stronger, Lansing has a bright future. Linwood has a bright future. Our whole region has a bright future. And I look forward to seeing it unfold and being part of that community with you. Sydney, Deshawn, Emily, Lanaya, Alexander, Angel D, Michaela, Angel U, Kiana, Darielle, Michael, Shanielle, Demi, Valerie, Giovanni, Leland, Alea, Naaria, Adriel, Foyensola, Esther. Our community needs you. Thank you for the work you have already done to become the scholars, servants, citizens, and leaders with the character we need to be the best community we can be. Your work as members of the National Junior Honor Society is a good beginning. I look forward to hearing your stories as you write the next chapters of our community's history.
The candidates will rise and repeat the pledge. I pledge to maintain high scholastic standing, to hold as fundamental and worthy and untarnished character, to endeavor intelligently and courageously to be a leader, and to give of myself freely into service to others. In so doing, I shall prove myself worthy of a place in the National Junior Honor Society.
Members of the Heritage National Junior Honor Society continue to think of how your life is blessed onto others and touches their lives. Please fill out your chair.
Thank you all for attending our induction service. We especially want to thank our speaker, Ms. Melanie Jongsma, for her encouraging words. We would also like to thank the administrators, the faculty council, and all the other staff members who made this a memorable program.